Hey, what's happening, everybody? Jeremiah, what's up, dude?
Hey, Paul, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Hi, Rhoda. How are you? Jeremiah, what's up, dude?
Hey, Paul, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. See, Alex is on. Hey, Baruch. Can you hear us?
Yes, Paul, I can.
Okay. All right, there we go.
Sorry.
Oh, there you are. What's going on?
Good, good.
Good. Who's that? Is that Wayne? How you doing, Wayne?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Glad you could dial in.
Appreciate it.
Is that Wayne McCarthy?
Yes,
Oh, my bad. I'm like putting your government name out there, aren't I?
you're good.
My fault. All right, let's see. All right, we're gonna give it about 3 more minutes, then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to keep this in the hour time block.
Sounds good.
I may get like sound effects, like a boxing ring sound effect or something. Ding! I think that'd be cool.
Little music going on.
I know, right? Some music or something. This AC is loud. Can you guys hear the AC?
No.
Good. Okay. It's just me then. Okay, we're gonna give folks a couple more minutes, then we're gonna get rolling. Okay. I don't know if we have any singers on here. Maybe somebody can sing for us, keep us entertained.
Any volunteer for that?
All right, we're gonna get started in 1 minute, everybody. Hey, Fatima. Okay, let's. Hey, Fatima. Hey, Candace.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We need to get you in one of these matchups in the future.
We'll see about that. I don't know how much I don't know how good I'll be, but way I'm feeling these
That's
days.
it. Everybody thinks that.
Ali beating up on me, man.
I have you go against someone from HIPAA.
Oh, for RMF?
Yeah, to be RMF versus HIPAA.
Oh, interesting twist.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, Fatima.
How are you?
Hi.
Good. All right, guys, we are gonna get this party started. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Welcome everybody to our very first Tech Versus. This is a vision of mine I've been trying to put together for the longest time, and I'm so happy to tell you guys Baruch and Jeremiah agreed to get on this thing and join me in my shenanigans. So I do appreciate you both getting on this call with me. And just you know, I call it edutainment, right? It's educational mixed with entertainment, you know, because we're about the cybersecurity culture, and you know, why not make it fun, right? Our day-to-day work. So a lot of people are probably wondering, what the heck is a Tech Versus, right? Well, a Tech Versus is where we take two people from different genres of IT, and we have a sort of a conversation, right? So they're going to start off by telling you guys what it is that they do from the day to day. And then after that, we're going to have 4 rounds, right? It's pretty much whatever they want to do, right? In regards to supporting their role or their job category in IT, right? And they're going to go ahead and do their thing. And what I would like the audience to do, this is an interactive webinar. I want you guys to engage and by using your reaction buttons on Zoom. So you can actually, you know, as the panelist is speaking, you can give them either clap, thumbs up, you know, laughing emoji, any type of emoji as they're speaking. It's going to be recorded, kind of counted on their part, right? And that's how we're going to determine who wins the versus competition. We're not going to announce who wins on this call, right? Because we're all about having fun. It's going to be friendly. It's going to be fun. And, you know, a little bit of competition, because if you know me, you know I love competition. So once again, we're going to go through an introduction. They're going to have 2 to 3 minutes to introduce themselves, tell you about what they do, the area of expertise. Then we're going to have 4 rounds where they're going to take turns telling you guys about their job, right? Whether it's stories, whether it's presentation, whether it's refuting another person's statement, whatever, right? And then at the end, you know, we'll open up for Q&A for anybody that's just curious to learn a little bit more about what that job, what people do in that job industry that they work in. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I should have had a coin because I want to flip a coin. Who wants to go first?
Ladies first. Ladies first.
No, Jeremiah, go ahead.
All right. Well, we gotta do the only sensible thing. Paper, rock, scissors. Let's go.
Rock.
What was
All
yours?
right, I'll go.
You'll go. All right. There we go. Well, that was easy. All right. So Baruch, go ahead and introduce yourself. I'll tell you what. He'll go first in the round. You just go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us what it is that you do, and you know, and your job title.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name, as you see it there already, Baruch Kaur, and I'm working as a cybersecurity engineer for last 5 years. And previous to that, I was doing network monitoring almost 15 years. So from there, I pivoted to cybersecurity, which is very interesting, and really, I'm really liking this role. And main role is like detecting and protecting the network. So my daily responsibilities are like monitoring suspicious email that user reports, or any other alerts that comes in, like for instance, account lockout or brute force, or anytime somebody click on some executable and it compromises the PC. So I have to investigate those. And anytime there is a different type of traffic comes in, do investigation on that by looking into firewalls. And if the IP address is abusive IP address, then, you know, make sure I block that on firewall. Also doing data loss prevention alerts that have been configured in Microsoft Azure. So anytime somebody send any PII information outside the organization, I get those alerts, and then I investigate those, reach out to the users to see, if they intend to send those, and if they did, give them instructions to start encrypting it. Right now, we send them instructions to do it manually, but I am testing it right now to do it automatically, so that if they forget to encrypt, so it will just happen in the background. Yeah, so any other alert or anything comes through, I will spend time to investigate those. So
Awesome. So Balrupa is representing for the SOC, y'all. She is representing for SOC engineering, team defense, monitoring the network, keeping it safe. All right, let's go to the other side. We're going to talk to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and what you're representing today.
Yeah, I mean, now I wish I went first because she said it's bad, so I don't know what to say again.
That's not right.
So yeah, I mean, I used to work with Deloitte before as a cybersecurity consultant, senior consultant, whatever. And there I was opportune to touch across GRC, like IT audits, security assessments, pen testing, vulnerability assessments, digital forensics, e-discovery, incident response, and data analysis in relation to cyber logs review, like incident log reviews and all those stuff. So that's like a quick overview of my experience, what I do. And currently I work as an information systems security administrator. I mean, forget all the names on cybersecurity. I could, Baruch could give herself any name tomorrow. I could give myself any name. No, we still try to do the same thing. So it was a bit difficult for us to fit our roles. Like when we're preparing for this Verzuz, like we had multiple back and forth, like, okay, why not let's say this, that. So for today, I'm going to be a digital forensics person. That's because, I mean, I really love digital forensics, and it helps you uncover so many things that a regular computer user, even advanced users, may not know. So that's like a summary of what I do.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremiah. So you guys heard it. We have SOC engineer, excuse me. We have SOC engineering versus digital forensics. All right. So let's get right into it. Once again, we're going to take turns. It's going to be 3 to 5 minutes. Jeremiah, you're going to have 3 to 5 minutes. Belrupa, you're going to have 3 to 5 minutes to show us whatever it is you want to show us, or talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Folks that are listening in, if you hear something that you like, and you're like, oh, you know what, that's a good point, or I like that, please engage with the emoticons. That is a vote. You can vote more than once. At the end, we're not going to announce a winner, but later on, we'll be able to tally up all the emoticons that are registered, and we'll figure out who actually won, right? Either way, it's going to be a fun engagement. Hopefully, you guys will learn a lot, and hopefully it'll be fun. And so let's go ahead and get rolling. So Jeremiah, you have the floor. The clock starts now.
Okay, I thought she was gonna start. Anyways, I'm good to start this time around. Yeah. So I mean, when you say digital forensics, we're not referring to like CSI and all those kind of stuff. We're referring to like reviewing digital information on any media. But to be more specific, let's say on your Windows operating system or your Linux operating system or your Mac OS X. So ideally, you want to be able to trace whatever is going on in your environment. For instance, let's say you're doing like, let me give a scenario. For instance, someone downloads a file and that file is malicious, or the person downloaded the file unknowingly from a website and the person was trying to look for free downloads, or the person wanted to watch the Super Bowl free of charge, like all these live streaming events, like, you know, the UEFA Champions League free of charge, you don't want to pay, and you stumble on all these websites that gives you all sorts of ads, and you downloaded something unknowingly, and that file, you open it or something executes it, and things start going on your computer and you don't know anything, and Baruch is there in our SOC engineer room and she's seeing all sorts of things going on, and she's like, oh, what's this? What's going on? She's trying to contain it. You need to, after she does all she needs to do, like looking at the network traffic, what is communicating with what port is it communicating on, how is the traffic going in terms of what protocol is it using, all those things, the destination, you're looking at the IP addresses and all of that. So you still need to come back to the digital forensics guy to say, okay, guys, how did this process start running? This service on my computer, how did it start communicating with this IP address? What led to that? So it's digital forensics that will give you the answer. Like every incident, you want to do a root cause analysis, right? And root cause analysis is pretty much you trying to know what's going on, what started this, like where's the ground zero, what started COVID-19, that kind of stuff, you know, what led to all these vaccines and masks and all this stuff we do nowadays. You want to get to the root cause. So in that scenario, you want to know what led to this file download. What was this person doing on his browser? What was he doing at that point in time? So all these things, this is just one of the many things that the digital forensics analyst or engineer or investigator would help you find out in your many investigations. So over to you, Baruch. Tell me how you don't need digital forensics in your life, please.
Oh boy, shots fired, shots fired. All right, that was very good.
Yeah, so I feel like blue teamers are good because we are actually preventing and protecting and defending all the attacks that even happened, right? By implementing firewalls or doing MFAs and all that. So I think blue team or SOC is actually going and protecting stuff, right? So I'll just tell you guys the story. Prior to this company, I was working with a different company, and then we had, we didn't know, I mean, we were monitoring and looking at logs and everything. Sometimes you can skip those logs, and it could happen. So the user actually opened up the ticket or saying, you know, found out from HR actually. HR reached out to IT department saying, you know, the payroll wasn't working for a couple of people weren't getting paid. So that led to the investigation. Why is that happening? Everybody else was okay, but it was like 5 or 6 users was complaining about that. And then came to know after doing all the investigation that someone clicked on the phishing email. It was phishing attempt, really. So they clicked on the link, and you know, that's how they got their credentials, and that's how they were able to take their payroll, and they changed the routing and all that stuff. And it was a big incident, and we learned quite a bit out of that. That, you know, that because of that reason, at that time we didn't have any simulation phishing stuff that going out to user to start doing, you know, looking into those things. Don't click on those malicious links and stuff. So they spent money to buy KnowBe4 and started doing training for the users to prevent that being happening, and you know, after that. So that was one of the incident on the phishing email side.
Okay, all right, little phishing. Okay, all right. Hey, for those that are just dialing in, I do want to remind you guys, welcome to Verzuz. I want to remind you all to engage as we're going through the rounds. We just got through the first round. If you hear something that one of the panelists says that you think is outstanding, if it's awesome, if it's cool, if you like it, hit one of the reaction buttons to put in a vote for them. You can vote for as many people as many times as you want. So do want to remind the audience about that. All right. Okay, so first round, we learned a little bit about digital forensics and being a SOC engineer. Let's go around to round 2. Let's see what Jeremiah has up his sleeve. Jeremiah, clock starts now.
Oh yeah, I need to set my countdown again, my timer. Okay. Well, Baruch she's not giving me shots, so I feel like I'm just shooting. No one is coming back to me. Anyway, she's being nice, but I understand.
Yeah, that's my issue. I think I need to learn.
So yeah, you were like you update firewall rules and try to block all sorts of incidents and attacks. But when you coming back to digital forensics, like you want to see there was a scenario where this particular user in one of my engagements, this particular user received an email from his personal Gmail, Yahoo Mail kind of email, and he downloaded the file. It was on an OS X, so the file couldn't extract the archive because I think it was zip or something, and OS X did not support archiving that natively. You needed like maybe something to extract it for you, like a WinRAR for OS X or on RAR or on Archiver on MacBooks. So this person then came to his office computer, logged on to his Gmail, Yahoo Mail, or whichever, downloaded the file, clicked on it, and boom. It was a malware that was in it, and it was a malware that changes like your DNS settings on your computer. So all your requests are being routed to a malicious DNS server. That's like your domain name resolution system. When you want to visit a website, you type www.google.com. Something has to convert that google.com to like an IP address that makes the computer able to access it. So that service that converts it, that's like DNS service. So it was being all the traffic on this person's computer was being redirected through the malicious DNS server. And I mean, the SOC analysts and all Barup's folks came. I'm like, okay, let's review this computer. First thing we did was to obtain the memory image. Like when we say image, an image is like a bitstream copy. Like just say it's like a clone. Clone is not the right word to use, but just say it as a clone. Like you clone me, and you can do whatever you want with my copy, right? So that's like an image. An image is like a bitstream copy of a drive or something. But in this case, we took a memory image of the memory, that's the RAM, like where things run in volatile memory. Like we took that, and that was where we were able to see this network connections, everything going on at that point in time before we shut down the computer. So, that's something else that digital forensics can help you with. It helps you with this kind of detailed analysis to really know what is going on, what calls are going on. So that's something that would help a lot in investigating events. And additionally, I have 1 minute left, Paul, though. I'm timing myself. So, all these things like all these IOCs, that's indicators of compromise, these malicious IP addresses that Baruch will check, everything still comes back to the digital forensics guy, like especially when this incident has to do with like your hosts, like your computers, like your workstations. We then feed into the SOC guys and the network engineers and network security guys, and they have to fix up everything on their end. So yep, that's another way digital forensics helps with identifying malicious activities, especially malware analysis in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Baruch?
It seems like I want to join Jeremiah's team. That's that keep on looking at logs. So another investigation that I do is like we have a SIM solution that we use Splunk, and
nice.
That we have a correlation of all those alerts going in there. Like we receive alert from account blockouts or brute force. So that's daily basis because people forget their passwords and stuff, and then we get alert if they mistype their password like 3-4 times. So those are being investigated on daily basis, and then if there is any, if we get a brute force alert, those alerts, for instance, I had one incident, we were trying to see how that account lock is happening, but came to know that I checked in Active Directory, so the user was disabled. So we were trying to find out from other tools if we could get more information, but then called the IT coordinator, couldn't get hold of the user because it's already disabled, so must have left the job or whatever the reason was. Then reached out to IT coordinator for that department, and then she did the investigation and came to know that user passed away and nobody knew. And for some reason, everybody's teleworking and people have PCs at their home. So maybe their kids or somebody was trying to log in, and that's how we were getting account lock, and then brute forces started happening.
Oh, wow.
That's when we reached that IT coordinator reached out to the family and saying, you need to bring the PC in. But good thing is we have a CrowdStrike monitoring tool, and then with that we network contain after we did the investigation, so that nobody can get onto the network. So that was so looking at those logs and stuff like that is very critical. Majority, sometimes you get like 15, 20 alerts a day, and then it's like alert fatigue, and sometimes you kind of miss it, but you do want to look at in detail because this type of incident could happen. And so. Awesome.
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Cool. All right. That's round 2, everybody. Definitely like to see you guys engaging once again. If you hear something from one of the panelists that you like, that you think is cool, that you think is fancy, hit a reaction button on the Zoom window. We definitely want to get some as much feedback from you guys as possible. All right, we are halfway. All right, and giving us a halftime show. Here's Candace. Hit it, Candace. I'm just kidding, Candace. No, she's not going to do a halftime show. But yeah, we are halfway done. So we have 2 more rounds, guys. We have 2 more rounds. All right. Should we switch the who's going first, or should we keep going in the same round?
I'm good.
Good. All right. All right. Well, let's go back to Jeremiah. You got the floor, man. Round 3. Let's go.
Yeah. Another way digital forensics helps. I mean, in terms of investigations, like, this is not even related to like attacks, like malicious guys from outside or inside your organization. This is more like maybe something that your HR or your disciplinary department may be involved in. You need digital forensics for this kind of stuff. Some things that will go to courts, I'm sure many people have heard about making evidence admissible in courts, like going back to like fundamentals of digital forensics. When you're obtaining an image, you want to ensure that that image is exactly what is exactly the same, is a replica of your source system, of your source drive, of your of the machine you are investigating. So, for instance, let's say you had a case of someone deleting a very, very sensitive file, like maybe something that has to do with maybe intellectual property, or someone sharing intellectual property out of your organization and deleting evidence that he or she copied it to a particular location or copied to a drive, or, imagine you're trying to do some investigation relating to misuse of your organizational resources. There are so many artifacts in the Windows operating system that would help you get all of this. Like, you want to know who opened, who accessed the folder, what files were opened. You want to know what USB devices were connected to a computer over a period of time. You want to know all sorts of things. You want to know who opened a program last. Maybe you store those files in a proprietary software and you only open that software when you need to. For instance, if you work in a bank, you should only access a customer's account if you have need to access it. So as maybe the customer is making an inquiry or making a transaction in your front, you shouldn't just go to that customer's account without any need. So, I mean, there's something that digital forensics can easily help you achieve. Like, there's so many registry artifacts, link files, shell bags, prefetch files that has to do with opening files and opening folders. So if you say, oh no, I never opened that folder before, and you're digital, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, but why can't I see this here? You're like, oh no. Then you're like, okay, just like, I don't know if you guys watch The Mentalist. So when and when Jane in the mentalist, when he asks you all these questions and you just suddenly break down and say, okay, yes, it was me. I need my lawyer, that kind of stuff. so that's something digital forensics helps with a lot. You can pretty much track almost everything a user has done. And
Awesome. Awesome.
Recover deleted files and all of that. So
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Jeremiah. Baruch, your go. You're on mute, Baruch.
Sorry, I guess I was on mute. I wanted to say that SOC is never a dull moment. It's interesting every single day because you get different type of alerts and learning different type of investigations using different tools every single day. It's fun. You never get bored. So for instance, we have a CrowdStrike. With that, we get those high and medium alerts.
Falcon, nice.
Yeah. So had last week somebody installed my clean PC I guess they were trying to delete some files or trying to do something. But since this is not a supported software, we got alert and I called the user and they're like, no, I did not install anything like that. And then I talked to my CISO because she had told us anytime unsupported software or anything comes in, let me know if the user, saying that he didn't do it. So with CrowdStrike, you can have all those artifacts and collected all the data and everything and send it to the IT coordinator. With that, when they talked to the user, sure enough, he installed it. We had the artifacts that he did it. So then came to know that later on, they took the software out, they deleted it, removed it from the PC. So those type of incident comes through, and one day maybe you'll see a risky user sign in from Microsoft Azure if you have that. So I get those a lot, like user signed in from Maryland right now. Another minute they signed in from Russia, Turkey or something. So you have to investigate those also to see. So that usually means is either the user is compromised, and after doing the investigation, you reach out to the user to have them reset their password and also enroll them in MFA. So moving forward, if they're not in MFA, so once you enroll them in MFA, so moving forward, if they sign in, then they have to go through that process. So it's secure. So yeah, like I said, every day I am investigating different alerts. So,
cool. Thank you, Baruch. All right, guys. I want to remind everyone that's just dialing in. Please engage. If you hear something that you like one of the panelists saying, hit one of the reaction buttons. Let us know. That's how you vote. You can vote as many times for as many people as you like. And we are now on our final round, guys. Final round. Jeremiah, you ready?
Sure.
Let's see what you got.
Yeah. There's a question I could just. Are we gonna go to the questions after? Yeah.
QA comes after this. Yep.
Oh, okay. In terms of computer forensics, let's look at let's say account usage, like remote desktop. Okay. Now, Windows operating system is like the bedrock of artifacts. Like, if you can't find, like, it's just like a maze. Like, there are different ways to your destination. You could drive, you could fly, you could walk, you could hike, you could do anything. So there was an incident I was working on, and there was a user making external remote desktop connections from a workstation. Ideally, that shouldn't be allowed. This is in one of the engagements I did with one client, and so they found that from Baruch's team, like from the network security guys, the SOC engineers, and it was difficult to pinpoint. So we had to because there are also false positives, so we had to go to the host and look for evidence of external remote desktop connections, because that could indicate data exfiltration, like maybe someone is copying data out of your system to a remote server or something like that, So it was, so we got this computer, we reviewed it. We didn't need to image it, we just obtained all the Windows event logs. They call them EVTX files. There are different types. There's security log, the application logs, various things on the Windows operating system that could be tracked. So ideally, you should have turned on auditing or turned on login for some default behaviors. But for this particular remote desktop external connection, it was the standard. The initial name is Microsoft Terminal Services, right? Like back in the days of Windows, is it 98 or something? So we had to look for the only artifacts that could point us that, okay, it was this user that was initiating remote desktop connections, was an active X control, like something, when you access a remote desktop, it displays, like it sends the graphical user interface to you. So the process that does that was what made us say without a doubt that this was the person making those remote desktop connections, because that event log was tied to the user's ID and the user's SID. So it was, what do we call it? Is non-repudiation just came to pay. The user couldn't say, I was not making those connections. And we reached out to the user and it was like, oh, he was just using it to access his remote computer. Like he has a server, like a VPS. So, we then had to review all the, we now have to go into other artifacts and see if data has been copied, all those kind of things, to see if there's been any evidence of data exfiltration. And, that's another way digital forensics helps you, like knowing where you need to really know what you're looking for, then know where to find them in the Windows operating system and in an operating system. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that, Jeremiah. Baruch, the clock starts now. Final round.
Yeah, I'll go a couple more different type of alerts that we get in our SOC. For instance, like when there's alert for compromised workstation, we had quite a bit. Like I think a couple of months ago, Jeremy probably knows, there was a wave browser vulnerability out there. So when user tried to download any software or anything, for some reason, the wave browser, it's a free browser, gets installed on user's PC without knowing, they're not even aware. So with CrowdStrike, we started getting a lot of alerts, high alerts, like on 100 PCs or more than that. One Friday, it wasn't fun. So I was like panicking, what's going on? What is supposed to do? Wasn't aware of it. And then reached out to CrowdStrike, and on their webpage, they sometimes this type of stuff, they do post it. Reached out to their support, and that's how we found out that it wasn't only us, it was widespread. So what we did at that point, started network containing the workstations and letting the user know why we're doing it. And then found out that, of course, there's a notification has to go out, and you have to talk to the CISO and higher up what's going on before you even network contain those things. So then CrowdStrike came up with some type of script. So we ran that to remove that from workstations. So moving forward right now, what are we doing? We still get those once in a while. And they have a feature called quarantine, where you quarantine, whenever the URL, the web browser gets installed, that script gets run in the background, and those things get quarantined. So they get removed from the PC. So we don't have to do manually. We did manually like 50 to 80 PCs, but that was a lot of work. And some of them we had to re-image to make sure that gets removed. That type of alerts once in a while you get. And then other one is like we get like blacklisted IP addresses. So we had like 4 or 5 different IPs that was coming and trying in our network. So looked up those in firewall, and we created a rule to blacklist those to make sure they don't come in our environment. So those type of alerts. So it's called different type of alerts that you have to investigate. And you use different tools. We have Splunk, CrowdStrike. We have like security and compliance on Microsoft side. Also have Active Directory, Manage Engine, SolarWinds. So whenever you get alert, you have to use different tools to come up with a solution to see, the root cause, what exactly happened.
Yeah, lots of tools, that's for sure, in the SOC world.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, if you're listening in, I want you guys to give both panelists a round of applause, please. Thank you guys. Awesome job, awesome job. That was quick. That was quick. Excellent job, guys. I hope everybody listening, I hope you now have a good idea of digital forensics and just working in a SOC is like. Baruch, thank you so much for just jumping on this call with us and just hanging out with us. Jeremiah, thank you for hopping on. And I see we have a guest star here lurking, Marcus Bowie. He's actually gonna be on next month, y'all, for the next month Verzuz. It's gonna be red team versus blue team. Can't wait. What's going on, Marcus?
Fun.
Oh yeah.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Not much at all. You gearing up for your Verzuz?
Yeah, I'm warming up.
Okay.
I don't know what to expect, so I'm gonna be ready. So
well, you got a full-time hacker, man. He's gonna be on the call with you. We're gonna see which side is best, defense or offense. So I'm looking forward to that, man.
hey, cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So Jeremiah, digital forensic is such a world that we just don't know. A lot of people don't know too much about. All the, like, what do you guys do? You just pull stuff apart and find out, And I'm sure a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what is SOC, right? I know if you work in security compliance, you're probably wondering what the heck SOC's about, because you're so buried in documentation. SOC guys are the ones that actually go out and carry the work out. So that was nice. I see we have. I want to go ahead and switch over quickly to Q&A. Candace, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good. Was you in the pool?
Jacuzzi.
Nice. That's what's up.
I wanted to know, in terms of like the forensics piece, for someone who's a beginner, what is some foundational information that you would suggest that they start with when they're first trying to learn about this field?
Yeah, I'm on mute now. For a beginner, I think first thing is to have that can-do mentality, and like you need to have that mentality that you can do this, that you can research and know all these things. I would recommend starting with A+. A+ by CompTIA. You don't need to do the certification. Just read it, understand the basics. You don't need to memorize. Just breeze through it, or watch the videos of this guy on YouTube, Professor Messer, Messar. I wish I could be in a jacuzzi right now, though. So start from there. Just know the basics of computing first, because that's very, very important. And after that, there are a couple of books I could recommend. There's this guy, his name is Steve Buntin, STEVEBUNTIN, just BUNTIND. Just check him on Amazon Books. He has a couple of books on forensics. That would really help. But understanding how computers work, that's the first thing. Know what the RAM is. Understanding those basic things, network connections. You don't need to know so much. And understanding file systems, NTFS, FAT file systems, understanding what a volume is, what a partition is, understanding how to format a drive, what's the difference between formatting is, understand what the difference between wiping is, understand what the difference between erasing is. Erasing could be wiping. So knowing all those things would help you. If you can get those fundamentals right, then you could pick up any other book on computer forensics. You could pick up a book. Thing is, it's sort of difficult to get into the world of computer forensics if you're going to do well, because most of the tools are paid and they're licensed. Like NCASE license goes for like maybe 4K, 5K USD per year. But they're open source tools. There's this tool, Autopsy, AUT or PSY by, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the author, but is it Bradley?
So a good entry-level job would be for somebody that wants to go down that path. What would be a good first job to kind of start to get that foundation that would make you successful in that field?
A good entry-level job would be, I don't know, man, to be honest, but ideally you want to work in a consulting firm in a way, in a consulting firm or in a SOC kind of role, like a SOC analyst one, like the L1 SOC people, like where you review the logs like Bauru. Then from there, you want to also get involved in reviewing what led to those logs. You want to go beyond that first level of incident response. So that's like a good entry level job. But ideally, you want to be looking at working in like consulting firms that do all these litigation support. Like there's this company, what's the name? I can't remember. I'm blanking out right now. So yeah, those are like, but tech support is a foundation for every career in tech, but you need to diversify. But for this, if you can focus on consulting firms, KPMG, Deloitte, EY, yeah, those are really good places. It doesn't have to be a big four. It could be one of the other ones. There's so many. There's Kroll Consulting. There's Kivu Consulting. There's Arete Consulting. Incident response. So, yeah, then another one could be incident response analyst. That's another entry level job, because as an incident response analyst, you are responding to incidents on a network, and it will lead you to the hosts. So it starts on the network and it takes it down to the hosts. So most times it starts from the network. You see the indicators on the network, your firewall, your network monitoring tools, your antivirus, and all those places. So that's where it starts. Yeah.
Awesome.
So Jeremiah, maybe the name of the book you can put in the chat.
Yeah.
To get it. That you were mentioning.
I see we have a Lily Nim has a question for both of you guys actually. Hello, can the panelists share with us how the Log4 shell vulnerability affected their respective role? Have you guys had an encounter with Log4, or have you made any attempt to remediate or respond to it? We'll start with you, Bauru.
Sure, I wasn't directly involved, but I know the person who are in charge of doing vulnerability management. So we did have, I think, at least 5 to 6 servers that we had to upgrade, and it did affect it on some of the servers. So it's going on quite a bit for a couple of weeks, because some of the servers are old, or the application, those admin wasn't ready to update right away. So there was so much going on with that. She was going back and forth quite a bit. We use Qualisys, and that's how she ran, and that's how she found out how many devices were affected and then took care of them.
Awesome.
But definitely was in our environment.
Yeah, SOC work detection is key for sure.
Yeah.
And then you got to fight the operational folks to do the updates, because they want to keep this running for good reasons, right? Yeah. All right. How about you, Jeremiah? Have you had any run-ins with Log4? Is the trend in news lately?
Yeah, I think everyone has been involved either directly or indirectly. So, I mean, I was involved with a friend. Like, I have colleagues that dealt with this, and I was consulted on like how to review the Linux server for forensics to know if they've been hit or something, because they were seeing connections to one of their services facing the internet, and yeah, they were able to block it later on, like with their firewalls and all this stuff, and they reviewed the ports running on the Linux server, and they were able to close the unnecessary ports and kill the processes that started the unnecessary, that opened the unnecessary ports. And And then from there, they really needed to do forensics on the Linux server, and Linux server forensics is quite, not so many people can do it well. So it's not as juicy as Windows, it's not as juicy as Windows. So you need to really, and the logs could easily be cleared and you won't even know that it was cleared. So it's just totally different. So we're able to help. I was able to support my friends to see. They reviewed like the bash history, at least they know that when they saw the bash history, they saw that most of the commands they ran before were still there. So not like these user was not like the threat actor was able to compromise the server. So they were quite happy. That was pretty much it. They checked the user logons and logins, checked all user accounts. Those basic things to know if a server has been compromised. So that's the sort of consulting involvement I have with Log4j. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. A second question here. Usman Mustafa, are you on? I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I can answer that question if it's still online.
Okay.
I think, yeah, in this scenario, we didn't bother looking for any logs. I'm not really sure of any logs on Windows that could tell us what files were copied. Well, in this scenario, this particular organization, they do not store files on their workstation. So they use like a network file share, and that network file share had auditing turned on. And they also have data loss prevention tools on their workstations. So that was where we were able to determine if this person was copying files via remote desktop, or we could also do like, I want to say, on that ingredients, we could also do a conclusive, we could do a situational, what's the term they use? I'm not sure, but it's not conclusive, but I can't remember. Something that when you add 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, it tells you the answer, but you cannot say the fact that this is what happened. In digital forensics, you need to be sure without doubt that, okay, this was what happened. But if you can see everything pointing to that you're 99.9% sure, then yeah, because a user could open an RDP session and also be reading a file on his local computer. It doesn't mean the person copied the files. The preferred file, all those Windows artifacts would show that these files were accessed, this folder was accessed, but it doesn't mean they copied it. So, but the DLP tools were able to show that.
Okay. But Mustafa has, Usman has a follow-up question. How did you find motivation in this career for a DevOps guy, like file modification?
Yeah. For a DevOps guy, you really want to. DevOps, I would speak from DevSecOps perspective. You want to ensure the security of the whole development and operational environment is up there. You want to be sure that you want to ensure access rights on the DevOps environment is correct. You want to be sure that before people commit code to either your staging environment or production or whatever you call it, you want to be sure that it goes through the right procedure. You want to be sure that the right people review it. So all these things, digital forensics could also come into play by just looking at logs or reviewing artifacts on your DevOps environment. So that's how it would work for a DevOps guy. If you're a DevOps person, then you want to make sure that your servers are secure, pretty much reviewing logs, that's all, reviewing access logs to your Git environments, ensuring your production, your keys are not public, all this stuff, Yeah.
All right. Oh, okay. Let's do this one last question. Usman wants to know any best practices for GitHub branching from a security point of view. Baruch, do you have any run-ins with GitHub?
No.
Well, I
don't use it too much. Sometimes for CrowdStrike and stuff, I'll check it out. They have their GitHub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know GitHub has been very controversial in the security realm. I don't think we like it too much because it's so much input, untrusted input, right? Jeremiah, how about you? Have you guys
No, I'm not a DevOps guy, not a DevSecOps guy. I probably only do web app reviews and source code reviews. But for GitHub branching, based on my basic understanding, I think every other branch you create is uses the same base. So maybe there's some access control issues there. I don't know, but everything in security has to do with confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You want to be sure that the right people have access. You want to be sure that whatever branch has the right access to whatever branch. So that's all I can say on that. I'm not a full DevOps guy, but just apply the principles of least privilege, either to persons or processes or whatever. That way, you'll be able to figure it out.
Exactly. Go back to the basics when in doubt. Okay. All right, guys. It's 5:55. That was awesome. Thank you all. Don't commit credentials and keys.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and cap that off, guys. That was awesome. Thank you both, Jeremiah, Baruch. Thank you guys for being a part of our very first Verzuz, Tech Verzuz. This is the first of many. Thank you both. We hope to have you guys back again. And yeah, so thank you guys.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity, Paul.
Yeah, of course. Glad to have
Thank
you.
you.
From Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Thanks for the.
I'll be reaching out to you, Jeremiah.
Sure.
Hey, that's what we're all about. Yeah,
$500 per hour.
Oh, yikes. Oh boy.
Yeah, just kidding.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you everybody. Hope everyone had fun today. I'm looking forward to the next one. 2/22/22. That's February 22nd. We're gonna have red team versus blue team. Pick a side, defensive security or offensive security. It's gonna be awesome. We have a full-time blue teamer and we have a full-time hacker. It's gonna be on here live. They're gonna be doing it then. When is that? 2/22/22. You can't forget that date. It's gonna be at 6:30. Go to techverzuz.com to register and get in on that so that you can reserve your seats. It should be fun. All right. And with that said, thank you all for logging in and look forward to seeing you all. You can catch us on LinkedIn. My name is Paulo Ulakin, Jeremiah Ajiboye, and Baruch Kaur. You know, the internet is wide open, so we don't need to tell you guys how to find us. All right. Till next time. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.